Hello, everybody, and welcome to WASD 20. My name is Nate, and you are joining me for the very first Mailbag Hack and Slash. This one happens to be live because I just spontaneously felt like doing a little live thing tonight. It's a Friday night. Welcome, everybody. See, we've got a couple people watching here, not too many yet, but a couple people in the chat. Thanks to James Cashman. Hello. Knight9 has been chatting it up with himself. And yeah, for the XP official, hello to you as well. I like your name. So, all right, we're up to 6 viewers already. So I'm just going to be blowing through some questions. Mailbag hack and slash, because I'm going to be hacking and slashing with reckless abandon through the buildup of comments and questions that I haven't answered on the channel for a while. I try to be pretty responsive, and I do respond to comments daily. But sometimes there's ones that slip through the cracks or I forget. So I went through a backlog of them. And went and checked them out. And yeah, I'm going to answer a bunch of them tonight. So it should be fun. I'm going to start off with a little intro here. First off, I'm getting some inspiration here definitely from A Fistful of Dice, my good friend Matt, and Tim and James from Tabletop Terrors. Matt did a series that I used to love to watch called A Fistful of Questions. Really enjoyed it. And Tim and James have Mailbag of Devouring. So definitely got some inspiration for my name from them. And hey, everybody. Oh man, people are popping in here. Completely unbiased. Hello. Dennis Hagen. Hello. Robert, good to see you too. See your little text in the chat is what I meant. All right. But yeah, so I'm definitely taking some inspiration from them. Props to those guys. They do it well. And I put actually links to their videos. You can go back and watch later. Check out those links. To their similar Q&A series. Other things I was going to say, just a couple things to check out. I'm not going to make this a huge channel update or anything like that, but as Matt often does on his videos, his channel updates, he kind of, gives updates on a few things that are going on in the community as well. So I don't have too much to add there, but I did want to plug one thing that I found was kind of cool. David from Nerdarchy, the YouTube channel Nerdarchy, posted on Facebook a link to a D&D trivia kind of questionnaire. It was 40 questions, so it's not small. And I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well done. It's kind of a good balance of questions from like old school stuff and newer stuff. A lot of stuff from modules that I'm just not familiar with, but some D&D history and stuff like that. So anyway, I put a link to that in the description as well. You can check that out. I forgot to record my score. I honestly, I got really frustrated because on the last one, out of 40 questions, I clicked something and then I realized at the last second, like, no, it wasn't that one. And I totally knew it wasn't that one, but I was looking them over and I was just kind of like, I don't know, I was distracted multitasking and I clicked the last one and blah. So anyway, it's kind of a cool little thing. I think I got 71% or something like that, but I think probably if I should have gotten 73 or something like that. I don't know what I would have got, but anyway, it was fun. I didn't do great. I saw that some of the guys on David's page were doing really well. Like, one of them got like one question wrong out of 40. I think Dave got like I don't remember. He got like 87% or something like that. So he did really well too. Those guys beat me for sure. They're old timers in terms of you're not old guys. You've been around D&D a lot longer than me, so that's my excuse. Yeah, so good evening, William Zacarda and Huctosphere. All right, good. So we're going to get going with the questions here. Again, I'm going to keep this fast. Comments, questions, just kind of blow through them at a rapid pace. Some of them I might get a little more bogged down in. But Jim Hall said a few days ago, thanks for the videos. This was just a channel comment, not on a particular video. What webcam do you use to get such great resolution on your videos? I use a Logitech C920, and yeah, it works pretty well. I will say this. I think a much bigger factor when you see people with really good, clear videos is sometimes the lighting and the, well, what else was I going to say? Lighting is a huge thing. We'll go with that. I've got a lot of lighting. I've got, some of these shop lights that I bought from Home Depot. I've got this random lamp with no shade, and I've got that one over there that you can hardly see. And then I've got my ceiling lights up there too. So anyway, getting all blurry. lighting is a big factor. So definitely camera matters. And the C920 is just a solid all-around webcam. It's not like, you know, I wish there was better webcams out there, but I don't think it gets much better than that in webcams. Yeah. Dean, hi from Washington. That's awesome, dude. That's my home state. I'm going back there in July. It's the Lanky Mage. You must follow me on Reddit there, Corrupt Reverend. Yes, the Lanky Mage is my Reddit name. I think that's where that's from. I thought about making my channel name the Lanky Mage at one point. But anyway, all right, we'll keep going through some questions here. Looks like we've got 16 people. That's totally cool. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Mike Kennard said, how do you get a map big enough? I think this was on How to Play D&D Part 1 or 2. How do you get a map big enough for an adventure, and when is one over? So the first question, I use gaming paper. You can order it on their website. You can order it on Amazon as well. You can check your local game shop, and it's good stuff. Gaming paper. And when is an adventure over? That's kind of a big question. I think you're probably very new to the hobby, and a lot of these questions I'm going to be answering tonight are clearly from people who are very new to the hobby. When is an adventure over? Well, a session can go for 2 hours. It can go for 8 hours. It can go for however long you want. The DM wants, right? And however long the group wants to keep going. Yeah, it just depends. And campaigns can go for decades, right? So they're over when you want them to be, basically. Yeah. Andres, hi from Chile. Good to see you, man. Dave Forbes illustration. Your sound is really good. No room echo. Yeah, it's okay. I do want to get a little bit better here, but I've got this nice foam thing now, and that does help. Dean, what part of Washington? I'm from Shoreline, Washington originally, North Seattle. It used to be Seattle, and then when I was in like 7th grade, they became their own city. Yeah. All right. Oh, the other thing I should plug, speaking of, yeah, I see William Zaccarda saying, I want to make it to Tacoma in July. Yeah, AtCon is a new thing. On AbsoluteTabletop.com, you can read more about it. They've got a new blog, or in the Absolute Tabletop Facebook group. They're doing a little convention, and I think I'm going to be there for that. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 90% sure. All right, going to keep blowing through the questions here. I think I'm going to try to make this a half an hour max, and if I don't get to all the questions, I'm sorry. Clorox Bleach says, on How to Play D&D Part 2, thanks, but can I use my tasty juice to kill enemies? The answer is yes. Here's a pretty long one. I'll skip to the chase here. This is from, oh, I didn't write his name down, but he's from Brazil. Oh, Marcelo. He's 28 years old, and he lives in Brazil. He's been into RPGs for a while. He says, right now, even after my readings and studying, I'm having a very difficult time with something, which is what I'd like to ask the favor of you teaching me or giving me hints about. It's the inventory and management of it. How do I manage my character inventory easily? How do I consider the weight limit and manage it? How do I count sparable items, potions, arrows, etc.? Can you help me? I generally don't track that stuff very well. It's up to individual players to write down what they have, for sure. If you use a potion, I'm trusting my player to cross that potion off their list, right? So yeah, arrows, I don't really track them. I don't really care if my players do. If Matt Click is watching this, I don't think I ever kept track of arrows for Airdawn. Sorry, Matt. I just kind of went with it. That's just our style. I think that we just don't really worry about that stuff too much. Encumbrance, we keep it reasonable. If a player wants to carry a ladder around with them, for example, yeah, no, I'm sorry. You gotta have a donkey or a wagon or something, right? And yeah, if you're gonna, if there's a chest full of gold, like, you're gonna have to decide how much you want to take here. And then I might try to do a little impromptu math or something like that. But I generally don't worry about it too much. All right, moving on to the next question here. Got 23 viewers. Welcome, everybody. I'll be taking some questions from the chat, but I'm mainly blowing through the questions here. So yeah, feel free to ask questions. Like Grayson Atkins says, speaking of cameras, what would you say the bare essential starting a YouTube channel would be? Oh man, I would say, you don't need a good camera. Honestly, most people have smartphones. This is good enough. Your Android or iPhone, like that's good enough for a YouTube channel. Just turn it on and talk. I would recommend maybe getting a little tripod. I've got one of these. Whoa, I just set it up yesterday, actually. where you can put your smartphone in there, and it works pretty well. So maybe it does. Struggling. There we go. So yeah, that's kind of nice. You can get these tripods for like 15, 20 bucks. I think might have been a little more than that, but not much. Maybe probably 20 bucks. All right. So yeah. Nathan Thurston, hey dude. Let's see. Your step-by-step how-to play videos are super helpful. Are you planning on making more videos like that? You know, those were a full-time job for a while. Those kind of killed me. I got burnout big time. They're the most labor-intensive videos I have ever made. I think I might be done with them, but I don't know. I might I might make some again someday. I think if I make more, I would probably not try to like do a whole story. Yeah, I don't know. Just because I might just say like, hey, let's just learn some of the more. I've thought about doing one about combat. You know, let's learn some of the basics, a little more combat stuff. You know, the things, different actions you can take in combat or something like that. Yeah. Yep. Hug to Sphere live streams. It's pretty easy on YouTube's website. You set up a live event, but I don't know about the phone. I think you can now do them on smartphones too, but I'm not totally sure on that. You'd want to look it up. All right, I'm going to keep going with these questions here. Ryan Leister says, what is, in your opinion, the best path for a monk? I did my monk creation video the other day. I've always done the way of the open hand, but the others sound awesome. I don't know. I'm going to throw that to the chat. If any of you guys know what, you know, what paths for monks, because honestly, I can't even think of any others other than the way of the open hand. I play a monk and I can't even remember what path I took on that. I honestly don't know. All right. I have my character sheet. I don't think it even says. All right. Stephen Cardenas says on how to play D&D Part 3, how did you make your little figures that you are using? So I use Pathfinder pawns, and I also made one on how to play D&D Part 3 out of cardstock. I just got a little picture of an imp for that one, printed it on cardstock, and put it in the Pathfinder base. So I think it's Wylock maybe, who has a great video on how to make cardstock minis. Wylock, W-Y-L-O-C-K, Wylock's Armory or something. He has good crafting videos. He has one on how to make cardstock minis that are much more involved and look a lot better. All right. I got a couple questions. I got a bunch of questions about my music recently. The outro song is called Hot Heat. I can't remember who it's by, but it's in, that's the one I use in most of my outro music. And the intro music is called Micro. Oh man, that's going to bug me. I got to look it up now. Yeah, I'll figure that one out soon. Eric from Bloat Games says on an intro to tabletop RPGs, sharing on Facebook for my non-gamer friends. And Eric, I just want to thank you. That's awesome. That's the sort of thing that helps me grow the channel. I appreciate it. Justin Davis says, hey, thanks for the videos. This is just a channel comment. I was wondering if you had any plans to put a how-to for the role-playing aspect of D&D, like a player interacting with NPCs in situations where it's not likely to turn into combat. For example, your videos go into awesome detail about the mechanics of combat, but I'm still confused about the non-combat stuff. Thanks again. Yeah, I might do that at some point. I know how to play D&D Part 1 did have like, you know, a little bit of conversation type of stuff. So there's a little of that in there. I don't think Part 3 had very much, Part 3 and 4, but Part 1 and 2 did have a little bit of that, you know, trying to talk to someone and making checks for that. But you don't, the thing is, you can just do it all narratively. If you want to do, if you want to do it mechanically using the rules, then you would just, you know, probably be using charisma checks, persuasion, intimidation, stuff like that in conversation. But a lot of times we just role play it. Go to the chat here. Rob Carpenter. Yeah, my music is from the YouTube library. Yep, exactly. That's where I get it. Drunkens and Dragons. Z! What's up, Hankerin? Welcome, brother. Gamer3X says, thank you for teaching me RPG games. Well, thank you for hanging out with me tonight and for saying that. Let's see. Rob Carpenter says he loved our shared map video with me and Hanker, and yeah, that was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Definitely going to do it again sometime. Yeah. And yeah, Hankeron's channel, check out Drunkens and Dragons. Great stuff. Oh, Hankeron, I was going to ask you too. I didn't ask you the other night, but what is the name of you're involved in a Kickstarter that's currently going on, are you not? It's like Dwarves and Dice or something like that. Give me the name of that, because I wanted to, plug that. Send people if it's still going. All right, moving on. Justin Davis has another comment. So let's say your player casts a fire attack on the imp. Is it your job to say, well, that won't do any damage, or let them try it and see that it fails? The larger question being, should the players know all the stats and weaknesses of creatures that are fighting? And if not, what should they know? So this gets into a different question that I won't go into too much detail right now, but it's called metagaming, where you apply your out-of-game knowledge to the game, which is okay to some extent, but you really want to try to limit it, I think, as a player. You want to, as a DM, probably ask your players to try to limit that and think about what their player would know. Does your player know that an imp is immune to fire damage? I don't think most players would, because most players probably haven't encountered imps before. I'm sorry, most characters. Would your character know? I always do that. Drunkens and Dragons. Dwarves! Exclamation. Dig, delve, die. I love it. Yeah, so go check that out on Kickstarter. It looks really cool. Yeah. Nathan Thurston says, do you ever shift the narrative camera to a place the characters can't see? Yes, I have done that before. I try to limit it. I actually had a player once, I was playing in a game, and he said, I don't like that. Is there any way we could like have that character knowledge? And I thought, you know what? I can see why some people wouldn't like that. But yeah. Robert says, is the giant D20 from Wormwood still on sale anywhere? I'm trying to buy one for a friend. So yeah, the big D20 I got back there is actually not Wormwood. It is from Woodcraft by Benjamin. And it is now called Elven Root, I think is the name of the company. He did a Kickstarter, and he has not fulfilled the Kickstarter. And people are starting to get pretty worried about it, and he's not communicating well. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't recommend that right now. I'd say, check again in 6 months, see if Elven Root has fulfilled the Kickstarter. Because if you look at the comment section of that Elven Root Kickstarter, I met the guy, really nice guy. We talked for a while. It's weird, but yeah. So anyway, that's the info on that. Unfortunately, it's kind of a limited edition thing right now, but hopefully he'll get his act together and start cranking those things out, because they're really cool. Yep. Dennis says, what people do you play D&D with? Do you play with your family? Yeah, I play with my boys a lot. My two boys are 5 and 7. So we play like Hero Kids. We played D&D before. We played Star Wars, Force and Destiny. We did get No Thank You Evil. I hope to do a review of that. But yeah. And I do play with friends. My wife's cousins come over and I DM for them sometimes. Yeah, and I play with people online a lot. All right, keep it going here. John Libby, I got a lot of questions like this. Could you do a video series of showing how to draw a city, town, or village? Me and Hankeron did one the other day on a village, I guess, but I do hope to do that. But first, I have to learn how a little more and actually try to do one. I'm not going to make my first time on camera. I should probably like practice a little bit or try to learn, at least do a rough draft before I make a video on it. Because yeah, I haven't really done it. Cities seem challenging, but I do want to do that someday when time allows. Leo Harper, what is the width of your grid paper? Oh, so yeah, that's the gaming paper. It is 1-inch grid. That's the standard for most battle mats, 1-inch grid. And is that necessary or can it be changed? You can change it. Most minis are going to fit well on 1-inch squares. And if you get much smaller than that, you're going to have trouble fitting the miniatures, but you can make it work. You can also do hexes. You don't have to do square grids. All right. Film Empire says on an intro to tabletop, what's the intro music? And now I'm going to check because I pulled it up here in my video editing software. It is called, Oh, is it? No, okay. Stalemate is the one I use on my mapping videos. Oh, I thought I had it. I don't have it. It's called Micro something, and it's in the YouTube music library. All right. Ekins Boy Sploder says on my Tyranny Let's Play Part 5, I have a D&D 5e question. How does attacking a creature that is higher than you with melee work? Like if it's flying atop a rock in a tree or up in elevation, this creature may be only 5 feet higher, still in attack radius, but it is higher up. I would say that you want to just kind of go with what's reasonable there. If it's more than 5 feet away, it's going to be challenging. Maybe they can jump for it, but roll with disadvantage or something like that if they have a sword. Yeah, but if it's something that's, they're gonna if it's 10 feet in the air, you think about, that's going to be hard. I would say probably rolling with disadvantage or something. I don't know what the rules say necessarily on that, so if someone can feel free to chime in the chat. I'm going to look at the chat here now. Do you also play RPG video games? Yeah, I played a lot. Tyranny is one that I played recently. Skyrim, played a little Fallout. Do you have a preference on minis with regards to bases, paints, etc., Brandon? I use fender washers for bases, and my preferred paint these days is Vallejo paint, Brandon. Do Reaper bones fit on the 1-inch grids? It depends. Like this guy right here is a bugbear that I've been meaning to finish up for a long time now. And this fender washer is larger than one of the 1-inch squares. So, it still works totally fine. Yeah, depends though. Most of them will. Here's another Reaper that I haven't painted yet, but yep, that's definitely going to fit on a 1-inch square. So it depends, but most of them do. Maybe they're a little off, but it's not a huge deal. Okay. We'll keep going. MRDRK1 says on the Tyranny Let's Play, loving the game. I love seeing how different YouTubers play differently or try to full role play. Yeah, I tried to role play a little bit when I was doing my playthroughs of that, so thank you for noticing. Hope you continue soon. Probably won't. Yeah, I think I'm done with the Tyranny Let's Plays. I did like 5 or 6, and they started declining in views, and people weren't really asking. You're the first one to ask for more, so thank you. But I think you're about a month too late, buddy. All right. Let's see. Brandon says, nice. I use fender washers as well. Yeah, they're really cool. I just take a whole bunch of them and I just go spray paint them all black. Boom, done. Sometimes I stack 2 if I want to get it really heavy and nice thick. Put a little glue in between to make it look nice, so there's actually a little edge. Yeah, the Mapronomicon, welcome, LA, welcome, dude. He says, huzzah, great questions, nice minis. Been e-mapping, but listening. Well, thanks for listening along, man. All right. And let's see. Yeah, in terms of other bases, Robert, I did buy some once, but I'm just not, I'm just kind of into, I don't know. I'm into cheap and good enough. It's kind of where I am with that. All right. So yeah, no offense taken at all. Let's see. Linguini says, wait, is D&D in a specific pre-made map, or do you get to make your own? So this was on my D&D world map. So yeah, I get a lot of questions like this from people who clearly don't know how the game works, and that's totally fine. I'm glad they're coming to my channel and asking. So world maps are unnecessary, but they're kind of a nice thing. They're kind of a nice add-on, a little extra thing that makes it, I don't know, feel like a world, right? It's kind of nice when you can show your players, here's a map, right? And then in terms of the individual maps for games, you can play Theater of the Mind where you have no map and you're just describing things, or you can have, an encounter map. I've had it where DMs just have a piece of paper and they're pointing with their pencil at things, and we don't have minis. I've had it where there's a big map and then we use dice or miniatures or little cardboard pawns or all kinds of things just to get positioning right. But you can describe positioning too. And it's just a different style of play. All right. Justin Davis says, wait, nope, I didn't get to that one yet. I feel like I'm missing some questions here. Maybe I'm just blowing through them. Man, Justin Davis asks a lot of questions, and you know what? They're good ones. So kudos to you, Justin. Jade Lore says, I don't know why, but I'm imagining you as a child with a bowl haircut, just like Will from Stranger Things. Well, thank you. I take that as a compliment, Jade Lore. E Shifty says, hey, girl, tell me what you think of my mountains here on improved mountain drawing. And then there's a link to an Imgur. I don't know how to say that website, Imgur. I realized I've never said that out loud before. And yeah, so that was kind of a sketchy message. And I checked it while I was at work, and I clicked on it, and I was really afraid, and it was blocked by my school filter. So then I went home and I clicked on it, and it was indeed just a map. But I was a little worried by the, hey, girl, check out my mountains here. Sorry if I'm reading too much into that. Oh, man. Yeah. All right. So those are the questions that I had from viewers. That went a lot faster than I thought it would. Let me just double check on my Google Drive here to make sure I'm not missing any. And then I'll go to the chat and answer any other questions. Any other questions, shout them out. I'll be cutting this off in a couple minutes here. Yeah, I think that's it from the ones I had compiled here. Some of those questions I had already answered to the people, but I thought, oh, this is a good one to talk about for maybe a lot of newcomers. All right, let's see here. Oh, Robert says, oops, I meant not a big fan of the RPG video gameplays. Yeah, no, that's cool. And I know that those are never going to get a ton of views for me. I try to, A, I enjoy playing them, and B, it's part of the channel focus, PC games and D&D and RPGs, I should say. So I'll keep doing them from here and there. But yeah, I understand, like, if I started, if I had a month where I just did those, people would probably be like, come on. And I totally get it. So I'm going to keep on doing mainly the RPG stuff, but here and there, a PC game will go up for sure. When you make characters, and I probably will be streaming some PC gameplay just here and there, just because I'm realizing I like streaming. I like hanging out with you guys here on a Friday night. It's not a bad way for me to spend a Friday night when my wife is out with people and I'm stuck at home because I have kids. All right. Yeah, my wife deserves it after letting me go to Europe. So I'll just say that for sure. All right. So when you make a character, how do you determine modifiers for skills? Gamer3x says. So it's based on your ability scores. And yeah, it's in the first chapter of the player's handbook. There's a little chart that shows you, or you can figure out the math. But yeah, I usually just look at the chart. Talking about sleight of hand and skills in that nature. Yeah, so the bonuses are usually just going to be your ability score modifiers. So if you have dexterity of 11, your ability score modifier is going to be a +0. And then your sleight of hand or whatever other check that is dexterity based would be +0. Unless you have proficiency and yeah. But go watch my character creation videos. I think they explain that pretty well. And I even have one for Rogue if you're really talking about sleight of hand. Rob Carpenter says, if you get a magnet board, it's a great holder for your non-used minis. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yep. Yep, because that vertical, the washer, you can get a magnet. Are you pro technology in the table? I don't like players being on their cell phones. I know that. But I have used a laptop, and I often use an iPad. Actually, keep some images in my Google Drive and say, here's what it looks like. And I just show the players, here's what the town looks like. Find a picture of some fantasy town or something like that. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just describe it, but I use it for that quite a bit. Other than that, not a whole lot of tech at the table. Let's see. Hey, Nate, I tried that program. This is the Mapronomicon for ICE for stitching together maps, but it didn't work. Really? Oh, man. I don't know what to tell you. Look up maybe tutorials on YouTube for using ICE, image composite editor. I'll send you one later, Map. If you message me actually on Facebook, I'll send you a link to the one that I used when I first found it. But maybe you're doing everything right and it's just not working. I don't know. Is there a D&D race you dislike more than others? I don't know. Not really. I guess I tend to gravitate toward dwarf, elf, human. That's me. In general, those are I'm a fan of the more traditional, maybe halfling too, more traditional races for sure. Kind of the Tolkien-esque races, right? That's where I tend to gravitate. Where do you get your paper for the maps you draw? You know, James, I just get anything, Amazon or, you know, a craft store, just buy a sketch pad basically. Yep. Just some drawing paper. You just get a big pad of drawing paper. I'm not too picky. Robert, I love the isometric map drawing. I think you should keep doing that. Yeah, I think I definitely need to do more dungeon maps. I think those do well for me, and that is a factor in videos I do. I try not to be a slave to views. Sometimes I'm like, I want to do this video. I know it's not going to do well, but it's just something I want to do. Kind of like my history of D&D videos. I don't know if those are going to do very well, but they're just something I like and I want to do. But I have a feeling dungeon maps would do really well, and I do enjoy them. Okay, I'm gonna answer 3 more questions here. William Zaccarda, any tips for the first time DM? Relax, enjoy it, make stuff up, but you know, come with a plan and have some ideas, and do your prep in terms of, like, you know, having some tools handy, pages bookmarked that you need, like here are the actions players can take in combat, things like that. If you've never played before, I should say. Here are the you know, just some of the basic rules that you need. You can look up DM screens, and sometimes they have really good basic info that you would need to refer to. And then, you know, understanding the skills, like what skills are for what things, for example, that's pretty important. But then other than that, and have a decent idea of where you're going, but then, you know, play it loose, and if you get off track, no big deal. Let's see, keep it on going here. All right. I think that's all we're going to do here for tonight. Oh, I'll do one more. Griffin Turner. I'm a fairly new DM, but I'm definitely not new to D&D, and I'm struggling to find the best media to DM from, i.e. notebook, binder, laptop. Thoughts? So I usually do a Google Doc, and then I just print it out, and it's usually like 3 pages, and I try to put the stat blocks for the monsters. I'll snap a picture on my phone. I think I learned this from Kirk or Matt. I can't remember. Snap a picture on the phone, and then put it in the Google Doc, actually. And then I just print all that, and I've just got it all in, you know, my 2 or 3 pages, basically, that have some monster stat blocks and basic, like, and I try to think in scenes. Matt gave me that idea, and you know, there's going to be 3 scenes tonight. One is going to be the dungeon. One is going to be, you know, what happens after, something like that. But yeah, and yeah, there's lots of great videos out there. James says Matt Colville's running the game. Absolutely great. So yeah, all right. Thank you guys for tuning in, for joining me on this Friday night. All 20-something of you that have been tuning in here and there. It's been fun. And yeah, if you have any questions and you're watching this after the fact, you can leave them down below. Maybe I'll do this, I don't know, once every couple of weeks, I would imagine. Maybe. Probably less than that. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much. Oh, I forgot last time when I did my live update that I didn't thank my patrons. And I had to, like, add it in post-production, and it worked okay, but there was a while where they weren't up there. So I want to make it up to those guys and thank them for their generous support. Matt Martinez, Hitsuki, aka Cedric, Matt Lennington, Tyrell, Nathan of Earl T. Gray, and Johan Pavel Matheson. Thank you guys for your awesome support. And thank everyone for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. All right, you'll see me again very soon.